Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School, and thank you as well to all of our new viewers that have come to us through NeoGAF. This rundown is dedicated to Robert Bartel, who spent the time to write us a very nice and lovely note the other day. Thank you, Robert. This rundown is all yours. Start lining up now because the Super Nintendo Classic is officially on the way. Nintendo has confirmed that they're making a tiny version of the SNES, just like the tiny version of the NES that was released last year. It looks just like the original Super Nintendo, albeit much smaller, and comes with 2 classic controllers in the box, so you won't have to buy a second one. Despite its retro appearance, it won't be able to take the original cartridges, but instead comes preloaded with 21 classic games like Super Mario World, F-Zero, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, and the original Star Fox. Most surprisingly of all, Nintendo says it will also come with the unreleased game Star Fox 2, which was developed for the Super Nintendo before being canceled in favor of another sequel, Star Fox 64. This means the SNES Classic will be the first time the game will be officially released ever. That alone makes this a must-buy for hardcore Nintendo fans, so you can expect it to be in even higher demand than the NES Classic was when it launched last year. That system was almost impossible to find, with Nintendo severely underestimating demand, and it remains to be seen if they'll get their act together this time around. The SNES Classic will be released worldwide on September 29th. Like the NES Classic, this one will have a different design depending on what region you're in, with the European and Japanese versions looking like the original SNES systems available in those territories. We'll let you know when Nintendo announces retailer and pre-order details. It looks like the Grand Theft Auto mod community can breathe a sigh of relief. The popular GTA 5 modding software Open4 is once again available online, along with many of the mods created by the software. Open4 was shut down earlier this month after GTA developer Rockstar Games and their parent company Take-Two Interactive threatened legal action against the creators of the software. Since Open4 is one of the most popular ways to mod GTA 5, this created a huge controversy in the modding community. At the time, Take-Two said that although they don't have a problem with user-created mods in general, they were against Open4 in particular because they feared it could be used to create malicious mods that allow harassment of players and also interfere with the game's multiplayer component, GTA Online. It seems the modders were paying attention because they've now made Open4 available once again with minor adjustments, indicating that they've changed the software to address Take-Two's concerns. We'll let you know what happens next. It's a good thing that Rockstar and Take-Two aren't getting rid of mods altogether. User-created mods have long been a staple of PC gaming and are a good way to keep players interested in older games by giving them new content long after release. That might have something to do with the lasting popularity of GTA 5. The game was first released in 2013 and is still a top seller. For example, it was the #1 game on the UK sales charts last week, beating recent games like Overwatch, FIFA 17, and Ghost Recon Wildlands. That's pretty impressive for a game that's 4 years old, and all told, GTA 5 has sold more than 80 million copies worldwide, making it the 3rd best-selling game in history. Even more new details are starting to come in about the troubled Han Solo prequel movie. The Hollywood Reporter has published a lengthy new article detailing the behind-the-scenes turmoil that led to the firing of original directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller last week and the hiring of Ron Howard to replace them. So far, Disney and Lucasfilm have only publicly said that it was over creative differences, with Lord and Miller apparently going for a comedic tone and the studio wanting a more traditional tone in line with the classic Star Wars films.
Well, that's the real trick, isn't it?
Now The Hollywood Reporter has new information from unnamed sources close to the production, and it seems the decision to fire the directors wasn't just over the differences in tone. According to their sources, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy was unhappy with the slow pace Lord and Miller were taking with the production and the fact that they were relying on an improvisational tone, similar to how they made their 21 Jump Street movies. Improvisation works well in comedy films, but doesn't always work on big-budget productions where everything needs to be planned out ahead of time. The article claims that screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan was particularly frustrated with the improvisation and didn't want them to deviate from his script. It's worth pointing out that one of the best lines in a Kasdan-written film, The Empire Strikes Back, is actually an improvised line that wasn't written ahead of time.
I love you.
I know.
That's just one example though, and it doesn't always work out that well. The Hollywood Reporter claims that as the disagreements on the Han Solo film added up, Kennedy wanted to bring in Kasdan and other creative minds to supersede the directors, something that was already done on the last Star Wars film, Rogue One. But unlike that film, Lord and Miller fought against it and wanted to maintain their creative freedom. Obviously, they didn't win. Ron Howard was confirmed as their replacement a day after the firing was announced, and according to the Hollywood Reporter's article, the crew broke out into applause when the announcement was made. Shooting was originally supposed to end in July, but with Howard taking over, it's now slated to continue into September. The new director has apparently been in conversation with Lord and Miller and plans to only reshoot key segments and not the entire film, as some outlets have been reporting. For now, the release date remains unchanged, May 25th, 2018, so that's when we'll get to see if all the trouble was worth it. Anakin Skywalker isn't the only kid that can build his own artificially intelligent robot. Anki, the company behind the Anki Overdrive RC cars and the more recent Cosmo robot, has launched a new initiative called Code Lab. It's basically a software platform aimed at kids that teaches them how to code and program by creating simple command lines for the Cosmo robot and then watching them act it out in the real world. Anki says that Code Lab gives users unprecedented access to Cosmo's core functionality and adds that being able to see your code play out in real time by the robot itself makes this different from other programming apps that are nothing but software. Code Lab is available to download now. The Cosmo robot itself recently hit stores in the US and is coming to Canada next month. Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze aren't the only chilly characters in the DC fighting game Injustice 2. The game's director, Ed Boon, has announced that SubZero, the icy villain from the Mortal Kombat series, will be coming to Injustice 2 on July 11th. He'll come with his own set of lethal cryomancer moves and abilities that should be familiar to fans of Mortal Kombat, although because this is a teen-rated game, don't expect them to be as brutal this time around. SubZero is the third and final character included in the game's DLC Fighter Pack 1, which already has Red Hood and Starfire. They haven't confirmed what fighters might be included in the second pack, although characters like Adam, Enchantress, and Mortal Kombat's Raiden have been rumored. Given that both the Injustice games and Mortal Kombat are made by Ed Boon and his NetherRealm Studios, it's certainly possible for them to include any Mortal Kombat characters they want. Over to the Marvel Universe, their biggest TV show yet is coming to the airwaves this fall. Marvel and ABC have announced that their new series Inhumans will premiere with a two-part pilot episode on Friday, September 29th. The thing that makes Inhumans so big, literally, is that the pilot episode will be screened in IMAX theaters across the globe a few weeks earlier on September 1st, giving audiences a chance to see it on the big screen first before it comes to the small screen. This makes it one of the first TV shows to get an IMAX rollout, although other shows like Game of Thrones have started doing it as well. So what is Inhumans all about? Based on the comic series of the same name, the new show will focus on a hidden race of superpowered humans who are forced to come out of hiding in order to save themselves and the rest of the world. It's sort of like Marvel's X-Men franchise, although unlike the film and television adaptations of that, Inhumans will take place within the shared Marvel Cinematic Universe. The decision to have the show premiere first in IMAX might stem from the fact that it originally started development as a movie before being turned into a show. That's it for the rundown today. Remember, if you want to learn more about game design, visit our pals at VFS.edu. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. In the meantime, check out some of the other content we've made for you, and if you like it, hit subscribe, all right?